Hi everyone, my name is Kobe Warner. This is KOBLIZZY. Welcome back to another episode of the show. Do you hear that bird outside? I can hear it in my headphones, so I guess the mic is picking it up. Anyway, welcome back. I'm so happy to be here. You might notice the angle's a little different this week. It's because I'm too scared to sit on the floor. If you watched last week's episode where I broke down my top 12 favorite Tiny Desk performances, like halfway through, more like the 10-minute mark, I literally had like a absolute uh, I freaked out. I don't know how to describe it. It was a visceral reaction from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet because I saw a little bug on the floor. In retrospect, looking back, it was little. In the video, I said, that's the biggest bug I've ever seen. It wasn't. It wasn't that big. It was just like, I was sitting on the floor. It was shocking. I was talking passionately about music and music performance. And I looked to my left and there's like a bug 3 inches from my foot. I freaked out. Anyway, that's why I'm sitting on a stool. I am up a couple of inches this week. I'm hoping the angle don't look too crazy. I mean, it kind of does look different. I'm like, my legs looks like I'm giving birth or something. Like my legs are in stirrups. Yeah, I should like try to hide them. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sitting up here. I don't want to sit on the floor because at least from up here I can see what's going on a little bit better. You know. Anyway, let's get into the song of the week. Already starting this episode with chaos. My first song of the week, there's two, is Never Ending Song by Conan Gray. So I've loved Conan Gray for a while. And I used to watch his videos on YouTube like many moons ago, like years ago, middle school, like early high school, 2010s, like 15, 16, 17, like a long time ago. I would watch his videos on YouTube, and then he started like making music. He put out Idletown, and then Idletown got popular, so he made an EP. And then he put out his debut album in 2020, literally in March, right at the start of the pandemic. And that's like the Heather album and Maniac. That song was the single, came out my senior year. That was 2019. Anyway, so I love Conan Gray. And his newest record came out last year, 2022. And I really like Memories on that record and Yours. And I'm not yours. But Memories is really my favorite. I wish that you would stay in my memories. And there's more. I guess I could pull it up. But anyway, so I really like Conan's new single, Never Ending Song. My point was is I like Conan, and I have for a while. Never Ending Song is his new single, and it's like this 80s kind of vibe. It's produced with Max Martin and Ilya, and they're the only three writing credits. I think that's fire. And yeah, so Never Ending Song, on and on, like a never ending song. And Conan like sings lower than you're used to hearing him sing if you listen to his music, because he usually has sang in like a higher chesty voice and a lot of head voice and like a mixy plixy place, a good government mix voice for like years and years and years, and he's like really using the bottom of his chest voice in this new song, so that's kind of cool. Listen to Never Ending Song. That's the first song of the week. Number two is Dance the Night, Dance the Night by Dua Lipa from the new Barbie movie. They put it out the other day with the track list for the rest of the Barbie movie, aside from two surprise tracks. I'm really excited for this Barbie movie. Aside from two surprise artists and songs, respectively, they've announced the track list. And so Dance the Night's the first single, and they put out a music video for it. And it's a lot of Easter eggs. Greta Gerwig, the director of Barbie, is in the music video, and I like her movies, Little Women, Lady Bird. So it's cool to see her like be a part of it. She's also an actress. So it's cool. That's really cool to see her in the end of the video. There's like a broken disco ball. I saw a rumor on Twitter that means that maybe Dua Lipa is about to exit her disco pop era because the disco ball was broken, like it happened in the video. Anyway, Dance the Night. It's a classic Dua Lipa disco pop vibe song. It sounds like a Dua Lipa song, but it's good, and it's good. I don't know. I like Dua Lipa. Ever since the pandemic, another album that came out early 2020 was Future Nostalgia, and it also leaked during the pandemic, like a week early, which made her have to release it earlier. But anyway, Future Nostalgia, it was very disco pop vibes for the most part. But notice I say disco pop. I don't say disco. A lot of people are saying Dua Lipa makes disco. Disco pop, maybe. I feel like I feel like most music nowadays is like pop music and with an influence of another genre. R&B pop, hip hop pop, like rap pop. But pop, like the bare bones of like the pop music is really kind of like, I don't know, invading all genres on the radio nowadays. Like obviously there is true genre music that's not super popular, but I'm talking about the really popular songs. I feel like most of it has like a pop vibe to it. Just saying. Anyway, I like Dua Lipa. Dance of the Night is good. Speaking of Barbie, I am excited for it. It comes out this July, but it seems really well written. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm most excited for it. Like, obviously, I haven't seen the movie nor read the script, but I watched the trailer, and it just seems like it has a really interesting, like, kind of comedic timing that's bordering on the nose, but it still seems like it is humorous and funny. And that's a really hard line to walk. It's really good writing, and I'm concerned that with the way writers are being treated right now, we are not going to continue to receive that good writing. I don't think AI could write that, Like computers are smart, but they don't have human, emotions, human experiences. They don't have the ability to convey human emotion. I don't think. I mean, maybe they have some really ridiculous computer development going on somewhere, but like I don't know, man. The writers' strike is the first time in 15 years the writers have gone on strike. Last time they were on strike in 2007, it was for 100 days, I believe. And it tanked a lot of really good shows from the early 2000s. And so I fear it's going to happen for the same, I would say really good shows. Yeah, I think Euphoria is going to be a show that's affected. Whether or not Euphoria is really good is up for debate, I would imagine. Lots of people have very differing opinions of Euphoria. I like it for what it is, and I love Zendaya. Love her so much. But that show just got, it was supposed to come out in 2024, the third season. It just got delayed till 2025. They said maybe, we hope 2025. And that's probably in part to do with the writer's strike. And not that Euphoria is more important than getting writers paid, because writers were only asking for 3% of all royalties overall. Anyway, I just can't deal with the mistreatment of artists on a higher level. Yes, writers by streaming platforms, also musicians by music streaming platforms. Um, I think the difference is somehow music streaming platforms, I mean, like while Spotify, for example, doesn't pay very much, you have platforms like YouTube Music who's said to pay more, a Tidal who heralds that they pay artists more. That's one of their core values. Apple Music pays more than Spotify also. And again, all of these paying more is still not very much per stream. And so even with that being the case, even though, musicians are disrespected in that way, excuse me, let me grab my LaCroix. I really should get a LaCroix partnership. Like Ice Spice. Like, literally every time I say like, I think of Ice Spice. She literally made a 4-letter word her brand. Well, I guess a 4-letter word is my name, so a 4-letter word's also kind of my brand. But my point is like is such a basic word. And she just says like. And literally every time I say it now, I think of her. So I think the mission was accomplished, Love me some Ice Spice. What I was going to say is that I think it's interesting how years ago in 2006 when Spotify was created, and subsequently after that, all of these other streaming service platforms for music were being created. They were able to get the licensing together in a way where all, for the most part, all of the music, I look crazy sitting this way. I just looked at the viewfinder. Usually I cover it up. I look insane. Like, it's such a ridiculous angle. Like, I don't, like maybe it should be higher. I don't even know what to do. I'm stuck with it now. This episode's just goofy. Let me try to tilt it up. Is that better? I'm like, that was just a ridiculous looking angle. Anyway, so the people in the streaming service platforms were somehow able to get all of the licensing together where basically all of music, I say that loosely, but 100 million songs, like all your favorite artists' catalogs are most likely going to be on a streaming service. You know what I mean? And they got it all in one place. I don't know where we went wrong with television streaming platforms. There's so many of them, and I don't understand why there's not like 1, 2, 3, 4 that offer like the majority of everything. It's not like every record label has a streaming service for their artists. It's not like, Republic Records, or I don't even know. I'm not good with who's signed to what, but Taylor just signed with who? y'all, you know, well, I'm acting like you can talk back to me. Anyway, it's not like respective record labels have their own streaming services for their respective artists. I cannot give you examples, but I hope you understand what I mean. Like I literally can't even think of who Taylor Swift signed with right now, because when you scroll to the bottom of her things, it says Taylor Swift. It doesn't say the record label. But whoever distributes her music, the record label that she signs with is like a record label that, like, I think Miley Cyrus recently signed with. Is it Capitol? Like, why can't I'm having the biggest brain fart of my life. Literally ever, 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 ever. I know Miley Cyrus used to be with RCA. When like Plastic Hearts came out, that was her last record with RCA, and they didn't promote it enough, and it still did well. Miley Cyrus record label. Miley Cyrus is signed with Columbia Records. Jesus Christ. And that's where Taylor Swift is signed, right? Taylor Swift record label. Current record label. Republic Records. So Taylor Swift is with Republic. I was right. Are Columbia and Republic the same parent company? Load. I dare you. Load faster. I dare you. What? The network connection's lost. How's the network connection lost? Oh. What the F? Record labels. You guys, I can't find the answer I'm looking for. I don't know. A lot of record labels like will have like little subsidies, and they'll be owned by one big one. That's why I'm looking that up, but it won't load, so I don't know what the T is. But my point is why do, like, I understand Disney having a streaming platform. They own everything. Disney owns Hulu. Disney owns ABC. Disney owns Fox. Disney owns Marvel. Disney owns this. Disney owns that. Disney owns up, and Disney owns down. You know what I mean? They own everything. So them having a streaming platform that's reasonably priced, might I add, for everything that you can get with that. They also own ESPN, that comes with the Disney bundle. I understand them having a streaming platform. I get it. But, like, it's just ridiculous, I feel like, how many streaming platforms there is nowadays. That's all I'm saying. I feel like it would be easier to, like, unionize and get better royalties out of the streaming platform industry for writers if there were less of them. But because there's so many, it's like too many conversations to be had. You have to speak to too many people. But I also know that all of the streaming service platforms, all the big ones, were, pretty much unanimously agreeing not to give writers more money, which is why the writers ended up having to go on strike. Because like there's like a whole situation where everybody has to agree, all of them, and they wouldn't. And so, yeah, it's just ridiculous. Pay writers, people. There's no television movie industry without writers. There's nothing. There's no movies to direct. There's no TV shows to watch. There's no actors to act. There's no dialogue to act. You know what I mean? There's no costumes to buy because there's no actors to act. There's no this, there's no that. There's no makeup. There's no costumes. There's no hair because there's no actors. There's no money for the writers, so there's no shows. There's no shows to direct, so the directors are out of jobs. There's nothing to produce, so the producers can't produce. There's nothing to do. And so everybody deserves their fair share, and writers are not asking for very much, and they still deserve it. And they deserve more, in my opinion, but whatever. Moving on, it's just ridiculous. Speaking of streaming platforms, HBO recently made the change that I discussed a couple of episodes ago that I was really not looking forward to, from HBO Max to Max, because they combined Discovery Plus and HBO Max together, and there's a bunch of other content, and they don't want to cheapen the HBO name, so they took the HBO out of it and just called it Max. But then they put a tagline under it that says the place to stream HBO. So it's like, bitch, you should have just let it be called HBO Max. That's all I'm going to say about that, because it's stupid. Now I want to talk about, on the contrary, a branding decision that's not a bad idea. I saw on Twitter yesterday that Trixie Mattel has recently mentioned her interest in switching to just Trixie, because that's the name she started out when she was doing drag, was just Trixie. And she added Mattel because she felt like she needed something else, but now she's a legend, an icon, and the moment. So she doesn't need to have a last name. And so going mononymously, is that the word? Nobody's here to answer me, but I hope so. Anyway, going by one name, Trixie, is great for her. It's a great decision. She can drop Mattel. Mattel's a doll brand. You know what I mean? Trixie's a household name. She's on her way to be a household name, a drag legend, superstar, and icon. And so She doesn't need to be associated with that doll brand, you know? And they didn't ask her to be a part of the Barbie movie. So I would drop Mattel as my last name too. Anyway, the reason people think she's starting to initiate this transition is because her TikTok username got changed from Trixie Mattel to Trixie. So yeah, I'm all for that. That's a good idea. She's not losing the important part of her brand. Mattel's not hers. Mattel is a popular brand and a popular word, a popular name, but it's not exclusive to Trixie. So her losing Mattel is not like HBO losing HBO. HBO is all they have. HBO is HBO. You know what I mean? Trixie is not Mattel. You know? You see what I'm saying? I just wanted to talk about dumb branding versus good branding, in my opinion. Like, for example, when I changed my music, like my music used to be listed under KOBLIZZY, now it's all listed under Kobe Warner. It's hard to initiate a transition like that when you're switching your name because people are bound to get lost in the sauce. I've said this before, but when you change something about your brand, and even if you post about it a million times, at least one person's bound to miss the message, probably more. And so, yeah, if you're gonna make a branding transition like that, in my opinion, it needs to be like not ridiculous. Trixie is not Mattel. Trixie Mattel to Trixie, good. HBO is not Max. So HBO to Max, bad. Right? My point. Moving on. This week, I've had the privilege to go see The Little Mermaid 2 times. It is Sunday, May 26th, and The Little Mermaid officially came out on Friday. Or, excuse me, it is Sunday, May 28th. I can't even see 3 feet in front of me at the date. Anyway, it's the 28th. The movie came out on Friday, the 26th. I saw it for the first time on Thursday, the 25th, in previews at the movie theater. And it was so good that I went back on Friday to see it again. Or we went back yesterday. I went back on Saturday to see it. No, on Friday. I don't remember when we went back, but I've seen it 2 times in the past 4 days. But anyway, it is so good. Everything about it's honestly really great. Even Aquafina was pretty good, which I didn't know if I was going to think so. But Halle Bailey was ridiculously convincing. She was so good. Her vocals were ethereal. Everything about her performance was perfect, solid, well thought out. And to not be able to talk for half of the movie and to deliver such a compelling performance, you're that girl. Halle Bailey is incredible. And I'm so happy all of her detractors can cry racist, sob if you want to, because Halle Bailey's incredible. I'm so excited. Melissa McCarthy was way better than I expected. She was so good. I was actually kind of fearful of her nearing the end of the movie. No spoilers, but I was like, yeah, she ate. Melissa McCarthy was great. The boy that played Prince Eric is Jonah Hauer King. I don't know how to say the H part of his name, but Jonah King, he ate. He was really good. I didn't love his song like some people did, but I loved his performance overall. It was wonderful. The girl who played Ursula when she turned into a pert girl on land for a minute was fire. Daveed Diggs as Sebastian was hilarious. Like I said, Aquafina as Scuttle was better than I expected. She was fine. And I loved the movie. With the scene, I'm not, again, no spoilers really, but there was a scene when Ariel was trying to communicate to Eric how to say her name without being able to speak. So cute. Kiss the Girl was so cute. I loved Under the Sea. I loved King Triton. The end of the movie when he like came around, kind of pulled on my heartstrings a little bit. This movie was so good. I've seen it 2 times. I'd go back and see it 3, 4, 5, 6 times. It's predicted to score 110 million in its opening weekend, and I could not be prouder. It's number 1 in the box office as of Sunday, May 28th. I am so happy. They deserve all this love and all this success because the way everybody was acting when she was casted was disgusting, ridiculous, diabolical, and gross. This is one of the best Disney live adaptations in a very long time, and Halle Bailey was incredible. Bloop! Moving on. I don't even need to say anything more. Mic drop. If I could drop the mic, I would. If I could drop it, I would, but it's too expensive. I do have something a little unfortunate to tell you all. So I mentioned, again, in the last couple of episodes that, I don't remember which one, but I have been breaking a lot of phones recently. I've been going through a lot of iPhones. And so I'm like 6, 7, 8 months ago. I don't remember anything really, but it was like in the ballpark of that long ago. My phone just stopped working randomly, and so I got an Apple Genius Bar appointment and took it back, and they gave me a new one. I don't know what happened to it that time. I don't think it was my fault. There was really nothing wrong with it. I didn't crack it, break it, or otherwise. It just stopped working. It was weird. It just turned off and never turned back on. And then on that new replacement phone, I shattered the camera. Excuse me. Ew. I didn't mean to burp on the microphone. I cracked a hole in the camera. If you're watching the video, I'm pointing. There's a visual. Cracked a hole in the camera. And so they replaced that one and gave me this phone. And then this phone the other day in this OtterBox case, if you're watching the video, in this OtterBox case, I drop it in the kitchen. There's a camera screen cover on it now, but there was not the other day. I dropped it and it hit it right on the corner in this exact same case. And it shattered the camera right there on the corner. Not the camera lenses, but like the glass around the camera. And so then I take the case off to see what the damage was. And the entire back of my phone was shattered. So, Jesus Christ. I made a Genius Bar appointment for yesterday. And I took it back. And fortunately, they didn't have to replace the whole phone again. They just replaced the back. If you're watching the video, it looks perfect. I keep saying that because in the spaces where I'm not speaking, I don't want you guys to think I'm not doing anything. I'm just showing the people who are watching the video on Spotify and YouTube a little something. And if you're not watching on Spotify or YouTube, you should. If you don't have a Spotify premium subscription, that's okay, baby. Watch it on YouTube. It's free. Anyway, so my phone's fixed. I broke it on Friday. I got it fixed yesterday on Saturday. So it wasn't like the worst, ridiculous. Or maybe I broke it on Thursday and got it fixed on Saturday. Anyway, it wasn't like horrible, ridiculous, like I got it fixed fast. But like, goddamn, I know how to break an iPhone. And I just don't know what that's about. But thank God for AppleCare, y'all. I'm a huge advocate for AppleCare. This is not sponsored. I don't know why I would ever think, I don't know why you think I have an Apple sponsorship at this stage of this podcast on episode 36. But I do not. But anyway, I'm a huge advocate for the Genius Bar and AppleCare Plus, because with AppleCare Plus, if you shatter your front screen, the screen you touch, or the back glass on the back of the phone, and it's not touching the camera, they'll replace it for $29 with AppleCare Plus. If there's any other accidental damage, like you mangle the phone or you break a hole in the camera like I did last time, it's $99, but I didn't even get charged that time. It was free. And then the time before that, it was also free. I don't know why that time. But anyway, I've only paid $29 in this entire phone replacement journey. And I've broken my phone like 4 times now this year. So if you're like me, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm just saying if you're a person who has a tendency to break phone. Like, for example, I've never broken my laptop. Actually, that's not true. One time I spilled matcha in the keyboard and I had to have the keyboard replaced. But that's the only time I've ever used the AppleCare on my computer, I think. But I will take it in there sometimes and be like, can you dust this out? Because I like to have them clean it for me because they can like vacuum out like the inner parts. But other than that, I don't use the AppleCare for my computer. But anyway, my point is if you be breaking a phone, get AppleCare next time. You can pay like a monthly subscription. My AppleCare Plus monthly is like $13. Or you can pay like $300 down for like 3 years. I think there's a 2-year option too. That'd be a little bit cheaper. But that warranty is worth it. And I would also, if you're going to buy a warranty for your phone, I would not get the one through your carrier. If you do phone contracts and shit, do not get the one through Verizon or T-Mobile or whoever. Get the warranty through Apple if you get an Apple phone, because they use official parts and shit. And I just feel like you should be going to the Apple store to get your Apple shit worked on. That's how I feel about it. Anyway, so now I got a screen protector on my screen, which I always had, but now I got this dumbass camera screen protector too, so I don't bust this shit up again. Because I'm trying not to go 0 for 5 on iPhone breakage in 2023 when we are only in the 5th month. It's a little ridiculous at this point. It's so ridiculous that there is an Apple Store employee. I literally walked down, I was like, oh, hey, Paul. Like, be for real. Like, I should not be in here this much to be knowing these people like that, for real. It is so funny. But anyway, so, hey, Paul, thanks for your help. Shout out to the Apple Store employees. They're always really nice. And that shit is cheap. And they're fast. Like, my appointment was at, like, 1:45. I walked in at, like, 2:15, and I was picking my phone up at 3:15. Like, thank you. Like, it's amazing. I love it. So, it's funny. I've been talking for like 20 minutes, and I'm finally going to get to really what I wanted to talk about in this episode, like the actual topic per se. But I've been wanting to talk about my butterfly tattoo for a while, because I only have 3 tattoos, and this is the biggest one. I have, besides this butterfly, a little equal sign on my wrist. I'm showing it if you're watching the video. And then I have a heart. I have a heart behind my ear that... I don't know if you could see that, but I hope you could. And so those are my only other 2 tattoos. So this butterfly was like my real big commitment one. And I've had it like a year and 2 months now. I got it in March of 2022. And I had just dropped out of college. I was really like upset, down, out, destitute, feeling really drained and alone. I've talked about my feelings during that period of my life, I think, a couple times on the podcast. If you listen a lot, I was really going through it. And, I never actually saw myself finishing college. I didn't even want to finish high school, if I'm going to be honest. I wanted to be like Beyonce. I remember Beyonce saying, like, Destiny's Child was my college and the world was my teacher. And I remember I wanted to be like Beyonce. I'm like, I want to drop out of school at 16 and go rehearse every single day of my life to be a pop star. And that just isn't what happened for me. But I did end up going to like pop star school. Like I went to a music conservatory. It wasn't a real college. And it was really like, music school. I would have rather, honestly, if it had been pop star school, I probably wouldn't have dropped out. But it was more like jazz musician school. And that's a little more boring to me. I'm sorry. Like I know music theory is important, but it's not everything. Performance is what's really important to me. Because my charisma is my true asset. I am a musician. I am a singer. I am a piano player. I'm a rapper. I'm all those things. But I think my charisma is what allows me to like transition my vibe to so many different situations, like to a podcast or, to be able to have humor when I'm literally writing like out like a bio or whatever, a blurb. Anyway, I'm on all kinds of tangents, but my point was in bringing up the, February 2022 and March of that year as well, was that I just dropped out. I was sad. And so me and my friend Anna were hanging out and we were like, do you want to get a tattoo? Like we'd been talking about it for a couple of days. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so down. At that point, I'd only had this equal sign in the heart. I was like, I'm so down. Like, let's do it. And I wanted a butterfly. I knew that, but I didn't know where. I was thinking about getting it like on my arm or like somewhere else. At this point, I wasn't signed to a modeling agency yet, so I didn't really have to think about it. I didn't really care. I was not really putting a lot of thought into the process. So we get to this random tattoo shop in Marietta, in Georgia. And thank God they were good. Thank God. But we went in. I was like, yeah, I want a butterfly and I want it on my hand. Can you do it like this? Like I did not do any prior research. I didn't make an appointment. I didn't do any of that. I just walked in and I was like, I want this butterfly on my hand. And thank God, the guy who did it, he was so nice. He was funny. He was cracking jokes the whole time. He took a cigarette break and came back. He was hilarious. I loved it. And he did a great job on this butterfly, obviously. Now we've crossed the path. If I go get any more tattoos, I'm going to go to him. But my point was, is I really had a lot of trust in that process. It's kind of crazy now looking back because even now, like a year and 2 months later, I do not have that little of inhibition. Like I am like, Jesus Christ, that is scary. You just walked in and let this nigga tattoo your hand without any thought otherwise. Like, hello? Like, who are you? Because I feel like I'm so anxious about everything even now. So it's just crazy to me that was the case. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So this butterfly tattoo represents a couple of things to me. The butterfly effect, first of all, this is my newer theory, really, about it. I never really thought about the butterfly effect, like the literal, ideology, as inspiration for this tattoo before, but I looked it up right before I taped this podcast. And the butterfly effect is the idea that little changes can have a huge effect on what really happens in the long run. Little decisions here and now, whether or not I finish this LaCroix, or whether or not I take a sip of this coffee right now, or like the fact that I just took this selfie. Little things, little changes. I love that. I love that idea. And I don't even think about it in like a crazy, scary way. Like obviously it could also go in that direction. But it's like, to me, one of my favorite things that Miley Cyrus has ever said is that when she goes to bed at night, she says goodbye to the person she was that day because she's going to wake up somebody different tomorrow. She's somebody new every single day. I loved the way she put that. I loved it. And to me, the butterfly effect, I can't really say that phrase, the butterfly effect kind of relates to that in nature. It's like cousins to that idea. Any little thing can change everything. I love that. So that is, like I said, a newer idea about this tattoo. My first really inspiration for it, the reason I wanted a butterfly is because I just dropped out of school, was something I was really scared to do, but something that I really needed to do for like my mental health and like my literal life. And so I felt like that was a big change I had made for myself, and I'd already even at the time I could see myself getting like happier, a weight lifted off of my shoulders. And so I don't know why I'm holding my hand like this, because I'm trying to show you the butterfly, but I'm like breaking my fingers off. Anyway, the idea, this looks like I'm doing that gay hand. The idea was that, a butterfly starts as a caterpillar. The caterpillar grows a chrysalis. It lives in the chrysalis, lives in the chrysalis. It sheds it, and then it becomes a butterfly. And I loved that because I like to think that I'm a butterfly after being a sad little caterpillar for so long. And after hiding and hibernating, living inside of my chrysalis for years and years and years and years and years and years, I finally have bloomed and blossomed into a gorgeous butterfly. And that was really the original idea for it. I love this butterfly. Right here on the center of my hand. Thank God. I mean, he placed it well. He did the tattoo well. Like, it could have been a hot mess, but it wasn't. I want, like, little flowers or something around it, I think. I want some on my fingers. I don't want to leave my hand plain. But it's been this way for a while because of modeling and stuff. But I think I want a couple more tattoos and maybe, like, some less visible places. In the meantime, because I do want a lot of tattoos. But not right now. I think I have to take it slow. Also, they're expensive. I'm not trying to invest in my body like that right now. I should invest in the gym. I've been trying to get myself to go back to the gym. It literally does not work. Like, I want to be ripped and, like, pumped so bad. But I just cannot commit to the gym. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, so I really wanted to just talk about my tattoo today, but it took me like literally forever to get there. Thank God though, because I didn't even talk about it for that long. I just wanted to talk about the idea. I love tattoos. I want more. And I don't think they have to have some big, crazy, deep meaning to like them. The heart behind my ear is literally just because I wanted love and equality. That's why there's a heart behind my ear and an equal sign on my wrist. Love and equality. Just simple shit. It could also be meaningless. If it's cute, who cares, you know? Also, you could always cover it up if it's not huge. I don't know if I'd ever want to laser a tattoo, though, because ouch. So think about it a little bit, at least. And gosh, if you don't think about it like I did in this butterfly, let's just hope you don't regret it, which I don't. So I just wanted to talk about my butterfly tattoo. I've had that on, like, I have like a notes app, a running note in my phone of like stuff I want to talk about on the podcast. And it's been in there forever. Talk about this, getting your tattoo. I literally got it the day before I went on a Miami trip to spring break with my friend Renee and Grace. And that was ridiculous and hilarious because I literally went to the beach on a beach trip with my hand covered with like ace bandage wrapped around it because I got a tattoo the day before. Like, who gets a tattoo the day before they go on a beach trip? This bitch right here. That's how you can tell I didn't think about it at all. I literally was like, I just want a tattoo. Like, ridiculous. Like, so goofy. I was just flying by the seat of my pants at that point. Running off fumes, not literally, but I was just like really depressed. I was like still feeling the remnants of the depression from school. I'd only been home like a month. So I was just doing shit to make myself feel better. And thank God I didn't regret it. I also got my nose pierced. Like, I had already had my septum pierced, but I got my nose pierced on my left side. I don't have that anymore because it didn't heal right. It's also around the time I got my nipples pierced, I think, too, which I took out and then I put them back in. I got them done again. I don't know if I definitely talked about getting them redone. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I think I covered everything. Beyonce brought Blue Ivy out to dance with her dancers, like, as a dancer. I said that really complicated, but it was so cute in Paris. And I was just like, wow. It's kind of crazy, though, because that's where Blue Ivy was conceived. So I'm like, damn, is that why y'all did that? Because this where y'all was, doing what you was doing. Beyonce and Jay. What did he say in that one song? He said he was talking real nasty. If you read the lyrics of Drunken Love, I was like, damn, he really tell us all day business. I don't know why I said this right before I stopped the podcast. I'm so goofy. I'm going to finish my coffee. I'm going to go take a shower, do some yoga. Maybe. I'm probably not going to do yoga. That sounds like an idealistic. Maybe I will. Let me manifest. It's not 11:11, but I can still make wishes, baby. And I wish that you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you'll listen to more episodes 1 through 35 in lieu of enjoying this one while you wait on me to post another episode next week. Also, a little commotion for me posting episode on time. A little commotion? It comes out every Monday on my bio, and I still don't put them out on Monday. So you should give me applause for putting it out when I said I was going to the whole time, right? Right? Bye, guys. This is stupid. Like the video on YouTube, please, and leave a review on the streaming platforms. Leave a comment if you can. And answer the question on Spotify. You guys don't like to answer those questions that I ask you. Like, what did you think of the episode? Or like, what's your favorite Tiny Desk concert? Or what's your favorite Taylor Swift song? You talk to me. Like, I want to talk to you. Right? Talk to me.